I scaled an e-commerce from less than 400 euros per day in ad spend to more than 2000 euros per day spent. And in these 3 months, I've tracked every day, every action I was making to this ad account to see what impact did my actions have on this ad account. Hey everybody, I'm Paolo Santanicchia, welcome back to my channel. And today I would like to show you some lessons that I've learned from scaling this e-commerce from 400 euros per day to 2000 euros per day in just 3 months. For the ones who don't believe me, just let's see at the ads. The 19 they spent 397, you can see. The 20 they spent 456, and you see here 457 that I decided to make it rounded to a higher number, and you can see that this day, the 2nd of August, they've spent more than 2000 euros. Let's see the first 2000, the 30 July 2000. So you can see that's all real, and then that I'm referring to this ad account. I hope that no one would have a doubt about this. So before starting, let's see how is this Google Sheet structured. In the column A, you can see all the changes that I've made. So for example, I turned off the ads that increase the percentage of daily spend among all the ads in the ad set. I made various optimizations. I turned it back from the situation from 11 to 20th of June so I increased the budget. I turned off some ads that weren't active before the 20th of June and some other edits that you can see. The column B refers to the day when I made these optimizations, and the C column shows the Meta ad spend. The column D shows the TikTok ad spend, and the column E shows the Google ad spend, of course, in that specific day. Then the column F shows the number of products sold. In this case, I'm referring to a client which is a single product store, and I used this client to make this video because in this way it was easier for me to show you how did every move impact this ad account and the lessons that I learned, because if I had to make this video on a multi-product store with maybe even more and more source of acquisitions, making content, and with complementary products, maybe there would have been too many factors that impacted the daily sales and the daily profits that you will see. So this was easier for me to do, and I'm not saying that you should do this every day because maybe you will get crazy at doing this, most of all if you are running ads also on e-commerces that have more products. And so I just take this as a case example and as a sample to understand how my actions impact the advertising outcomes, in order to have a better idea on the other accounts that I manage who have very much more products, which I cannot do this so precise analysis. The column G shows the CPA, considering the cost of Meta, TikTok, and Google, and the column H shows how much is the net profit, which is very easy to calculate for a single store product by just multiplying the number of units sold, multiplying it for the price, which is a little bit more than 120, but with fees, Shopify fees, and so on, I decided to round it to 110, minus the cost of Meta, minus the cost of TikTok, and minus the cost of Google, in order to have a very wider view of what is happening and consider the net profits as they should be considered. I've not included the cost of the product, cost of goods sold, the cost of shipping, cost of every order made, and so on, which is very important, but in this case I wanted just to see how my advertising costs were impacting the profits. So let's consider this as a sort of MER, or ROAS, so return on ad spend, but instead of considering it as a multiplier number, let's consider it as a number in euros of the return generated from the ads. So let's start with the first lesson that I've learned. The first lesson that I've learned is that every action that you make doesn't have an instant impact on your ads. And this is very, very visible at the Raw 100. In those 10 days, I've scaled basically from almost 1,000 euros to over 2,000 euros. And here I learned something that is really, really crucial. Since I made the last edit, which was the 29th of July, which is adding new creatives to the testing campaign, you can see that it took some days, not 1, not 2, but 3 and 5 days to get at 6,000 euros of profits. And as you can see, I didn't make any other changes in the meantime. And in the meantime, today is the 7th of August. I didn't update this Google Sheet yet, but I can guarantee you that the results are even growing every day and without making any other actions here. I usually update this sheet when I make new changes, and as I didn't do them for a long time, I didn't update it yet, but I can guarantee you that the results are growing even better every day. So this is very important to keep in mind. Don't expect that a single action that you make, be it adding new creatives, be it optimizing by turning off the ads with the highest CPA, don't expect that the day later you already see the improvements, but not even the day after, both with greater and lower daily budgets than the ones that I'm spending. Don't expect an instant outcome, be it positive or negative, because we should always keep in mind that we are advertising to people, and as you increase the budget, you don't increase also the sales, you just increase the number of people who will watch to your ads. And by watching to your ads, they enter your customer journey, and by entering your customer journey, they will need to see your ads more often. They will need to look at your ads. They will need to understand who you are, making some researches about you, getting known to you, and getting known to all the problems that you solve for that new audience that is seeing your ads for the first time by adding a lot of new budget. And so you need to see the, let's say, the compound effects of your ads and of the money that you spend after some days or even some weeks, before saying that you shouldn't have increased the budget, or you shouldn't have added that new creative, or you shouldn't have turned off that specific ad. So here comes the second lesson, which is when you increase the budget, you should also increase the number of creatives that run on your ad account at the same time. And let's see a clear example here. In the first days, since I started making ads for this e-commerce, I was making a terrible mistake, which is, as you can see, increasing the budget from 420 or 430 to 570 to 780, 700, 700, 700, and so on, without adding new creatives. So the only thing that I was doing was to edit the daily budget to increase this daily ad spend. And as you can see, let's see the trend here, which is we're going from 30 sales to 40 sales, then going down to 27, 30, 20, 39. So we were going from having like 30 orders per day on average, more than 30, to under 30 orders per day, which is something that made it really hard to scale at first. Even with CRO edits, we had some very rough times with bad CPAs and net profits that went from over 3,000 to under 2,500 on average as a daily profit. And we had very hard times here. We struggled to scale, and even if I made some CRO, I made some changes in the website, and you can see how the game changed instead in the 2nd of June. You can see here the 2nd of June, I added PGCs and UGCs. If you don't know what I'm talking about, UGCs are simply user-generated content. So I took some screenshots and videos from the reviews that have been published in the website of my client, which was publishing the public reviews of the customers. And PGCs are simply what I like to call, ironically, Paolo-generated content, which are those ads that have been made by me as a user of that product. I asked the client to send me the product to my house in order to make some videos and some photos of that product, and I've run them as an ad. And you can see that by just increasing the budget of a little bit more than 50% more, I've added more than 20 ads. To be more precise, 26 new ads, so 26 new creatives to my ad account. And you can see here how the results went from an average of 3,000 or even less than 3,000 in some days to an average of more than 4,000 euros. Of course, after some days I had something to change, something to get better at, and in fact we soon recovered to more than 4,000 and 5,000 euros per day. And this is something really interesting because Meta, as you increase the budget, you're kind of forcing Meta to find new people to reach, and this is of course an instant change that you need from Meta. And Meta, without new content to show to the new people that you will reach by adding new budget, by increasing the budget, you are not helping the algorithm to find the right people for you. And maybe Meta will struggle a little bit if you don't add new creatives to your ad account while you increase the budget. So this is a very important lesson, which when I figured it out brought me to really scale very fast this account to over 2,000 euros per day, and even many more accounts. All the e-commerce that you see that I've scaled, that you see I publish videos on Instagram and here on YouTube about going from X to Y, thanks to my strategies. All of them have been possible thanks to this second lesson, and I really recommend you to follow that. So go all in with content, study more your audience in order to make even better content and better ads that can resonate to your audience as much as possible. And here comes the third lesson that I've learned, which is don't just look at the CPA. And by this, I don't mean to also look at your CTR, CPMs, and other intermediate metrics, but I mean to see how much your CPA is sustainable for your business, even if at the first look it looks worse. As you can see, when I've scaled the budget from 1,000 euros to over 2,000 euros, my CPA increased so bad, it went over 30 euros per purchase, which of course when I was spending 600 euros per day, 30 euros per purchase meant that I was generating 20 sales per day, which is of course well below the daily target that I had with this client. As you can see with the colors, my ideal average would have been to stay at lower than 20 euros cost per action, cost per purchase, and the yellow ones are the ones who are between 20 and 26, 27 euros cost per purchase. The orange ones are the ones over 28 euros per purchase, and the red ones are those CPAs which are way over 30 euro cost per purchase. And this could have been a very bad news to have that high CPA when I was scaling the budget, but actually, as you can see, as the budget scaled, also the profits scaled. And as you can see in the graph here, which refers of course to the above graph, as I was increasing the spend to 2,000 euro per day, also not only the revenues of course, but the net profits were increasing. And that is a very good news and a very good lesson that I take away from this experience, and that I've never considered before. Don't just look at the CPA, make like weekly or monthly analysis about your business and about if those CPAs are sustainable for your business. Because if I hadn't seen these net profits, I would have said that increasing the budget was a bad idea, and that I had to turn back to the previous budget, maybe to 600 euros per day, going back to less than 20 euros CPA, but making way less profits than I am making now, with over 6,000 euros on average per day that I'm making right now with this e-commerce, thanks to having scaled the budget, of course, having added new creatives, which is the second lesson, being patient, which is the first lesson. In fact, I'm not touching the other account since the 29th of July, and the results are going very well. The net profits are increasing, even if the CPA increased by more than 50%, and comparing it to some days it even doubled, comparing it to the previous days. But this doesn't mean that your revenues should double as well. That would be ideal, because in that case it would have mean that you had the same CPA. Basically, you double the budget and the revenues are doubling up. It means that you can have the same CPA as before, and that would be ideal, of course, but this is not realistic. You can't expect to spend the double of the budget and to get the double of sales and the double of profits. The profits increased a little bit. If before the average was 4,000, 5,000 euros, now it is 6,000 euros, which is not the double, but is way more than before. And even if the CPA increased, also the sales increased, and so also the profits. So I hope that my experience helped you. If you want to help people discover this video, please help the algorithm by leaving me a like and a comment, and subscribe to my channel to support me and to stay updated about my upcoming videos. And if you want to know more about Meta Ads and want to hear experts for free, which are revealing their strategies which helped them scaling e-commerce brands to over $1 million, check out my podcast, which is called Podcads, Podcads. You can see it both in the live section of this YouTube channel, in which you can find the interviews of Sarah Levinger, Charlie the Disruptor, Barry Hott, and so on, but also you can watch it on Spotify by searching for Podcads, Podcads. And also, if you want to stay updated daily about some discoveries that I do by managing over €500,000 per year for my clients as advertising budget, and want to ask me some specific questions, send me DMs and so on, you can follow me on Instagram. You will find the links here appearing of all my social media handles, and we can stay in touch there. I always answer to anyone who approaches politely and asks me questions. If I can help, I will definitely answer. And that was everything for today. Thank you for watching till here, and see you in the next video. Bye.